Brittany Lewis with Forbes Breaking News. Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin signed the Virginia Literacy Act at the Library of Virginia on Thursday. The bill is intended to increase childhood literacy rates amongst the youngest students in the Commonwealth. Youngkin praised the legislation, stating that it will help prevent children from falling behind in school. Let's take a listen.
Lieutenant Governor, you and I have shared the story of that great speech. And you said to me one morning, we were discussing it, that he could give that speech today. I think he just did. I think he just did. And I think we should remind ourselves of universal truths. And so thank you for reminding us again this morning. I want to thank everybody for coming on this incredibly special day, particularly all of our students. And I know a day out of the classroom is one that we celebrate. I think you're hopefully learning a lot today. This is a special day. It's a day where we commemorate one of the most important pieces of legislation, I believe, that has been originated, passed, and signed in the Commonwealth of Virginia in a very, very long time. A very long time. Principal Dabney, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for inspiring. I want to thank you for leading. I want to thank you for the character that the Lord placed in your heart and for living it every single day. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Lieutenant Governor, I of course want to thank you. What a journey we are on, and every day I am so honored and humbled to be on it with you. Thank you. Thank you. What we know is that Virginians have spoken clearly. Parents have spoken clearly that they want to have a say in their children's education. They deserve a say. Thank you. And over the course of the 2022 legislative session, we had so many conversations about a multitude of topics. And yet, this landmark piece of legislation, this bipartisan piece of legislation, yes, inspired originally by a single leader and collaborated upon by so many, is part of building a future. And it is a fundamental building block to learning. Fundamental building block. And so when we think about this moment today, I want us to remember that over the course of our service to this Commonwealth and our lives, we may not have a chance to place building blocks. And this morning, we have that great opportunity. We have that great opportunity. So I want to take a minute and again just recognize so many that were involved in the Virginia Literacy Act. Delegate Corner, we've applauded. I want to applaud you again. I want to thank you. Senator McClellan steps in and leads. And I want to thank you for constantly keeping what's right on your heart. Thank you. I had a great text exchange with Senator Lucas, and she's sorry she's not here. She led. And House Education Chairman Glenn Davis played such an important role. The bipartisan group of legislators that came together put students first. In fact, 60 members of the House and the Senate signed on as co-patrons. I'm going to say that again, 60. 60 members know that this is the right thing to do. It is just so extraordinary. We have a real challenge on our hands. And the first step of acknowledging a solution is acknowledging the challenge. And the challenge at hand comes in the simple statements of childhood literacy. Over the last few years, Virginia has seen a decrease in reading proficiency, full stop. And the pandemic magnified this challenge. It increased the challenge for our children, for our families, for our students, for our teachers. And the data tells us something that is startling. The data tells us that and by the third grade, if a Virginia child is behind, catching up is extraordinarily hard by the third grade. And for far too long, we've condemned generations of children to a diminished future because we failed to teach them to read. To read. This law changes that, changes it. As you've heard from every speaker today, we are in a crisis. Our already concerning literacy rates, of course, were exacerbated during the pandemic to the point today where we, in fact, see literacy rates in 2021 telling us 42% of second graders are below benchmark. 42%. 230,000 students across the Commonwealth are at risk of not learning without significant intervention. Significant intervention is needed. That's what this morning is all about. Children of color, children with disabilities, children living in poverty, with already disproportionately challenged environments, are also disproportionately performing below benchmark. And therefore, we have a moment today to change that, to change it all. I want to pause for a second and note that the literary benchmark data has rarely, if ever, been seen, and yet the data has existed, and we haven't had transparency. And what Delegate Corner did was make a simple request, that the data become public, that the data that actually helps us recognize that what we felt in our guts is true. Our children are falling behind further and further. And so this important information clarifies the challenge that we have. And so, first of all, I want to commit that we will always provide accurate data to the people of Virginia, and especially to parents and teachers, especially. Because we can't know where we are going unless we know where we are. And where we are is unacceptable. I also want to thank all the researchers that Delegate Corner talked about this morning. Literacy experts at the University of Virginia, whose tireless work has informed the development of this law. So what is this law that we are here celebrating today? It's historic. It takes a comprehensive approach to literacy for students in the critical early grades. It will support educators. It will support parents. It will support students. It will give our students a comprehensive set of tools and the assistance that they need in early literacy training and teaching. Coaches for students to read better. How about that for a novel concept? The Virginia Literacy Act also gives teachers, both in the classroom and getting ready for the classroom, training in the science of reading and supporting ongoing professional development. So as we have heard, there is one approach, one set of materials, and a comprehensive way for students to learn. The Literacy Act also ensures that our higher education programs across the Commonwealth are teaching aspiring teachers that when they begin this great profession of educating our young people, they can step right in. They can step right in and lose no time to accomplish this most important goal. It guarantees access to continuing professional education, and that school systems all provide students with evidence-based literacy instruction, screening, monitoring in their early reading process. Early literacy is at the foundation for succeeding. We've talked about that. We know this. We know that we have to make sure that Virginia's youngest are prepared to succeed in the tremendous opportunity of life that's in front of all of them, no matter their background, no matter their circumstances. So in closing, the enthusiasm, the energy, the excitement about this moment that we're all standing here together is not a moment in time. It has to be sustained. And therefore, I want to recognize everyone here, but also hold you all accountable with us to deliver on this great promise, to move forward with this piece of legislation that is going into law, not as something we look back on, but something that we carry into the future. This is a chance for us to change the future for so many kids. Again, I want to thank you all for being here, and we have a little business to do. And the business is, in fact, to sign this legislation with all of us here. And so, friends, ready to go to work? You've been incredibly patient. You want to go to work? Let's go sign a bill. Let's do that. All right, here we go. Let's go sign a bill.
Kristen and Shannon.
So there are two bills that we're signing this morning, one from the Senate, one from the House. They say the same thing. We're being doubly careful. First, I want to sign Senate Bill 616, Virginia Literacy Act. Next, I want to sign House Bill 319, again, the Virginia Literacy Act. Congratulations. So much fun. If I could ask friends who came here with, we need more pens. And so if we could chase that down. But because you were so excited about doing the work, I'd like to give you the first pen. We will chase down a few more. Okay. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for joining us today. And the work begins today.